All my bitches bad as shit. We on top like chandelier. We make a movie, curve full of baddies and bougies. Glocks, fans and Uzis. I might pop out like John Wayne. Come through, sweep that bitch like Nudie. Only my Lumi. I'm in here clutching the Uzi. Sliding big truck like Dooley. Ducking the groupies. I'm not the type to be choosy. I gotta ride with the tool. I thought you knew me. I don't gotta go to no job. Rapping and chopping my duties. Smoke be thicker than Fox. Woods be bigger than logs. Yeah, I'm not your average buddy. Yeah, it's a couple of bags on a buddy. She gon' give me some head and get lucky. We could be on the beat somewhere lovely. I be mixing the walk with the bubbly. That's why she put no one above me. All my bitches bad as shit. We on top like chandelier. We make a movie, crib full of baddies and bougies. Glocks and fans and Uzi. I might pop out like John Wayne. Come through, sweet some bit like Nudie. I might pop out like John Wayne. Come through, sweet that bit like Nudie. All my bitches bad as shit. We on top like chandelier. We make a movie, crib full of baddies and bougies. Glocks and fans and Uzi. I might pop out like John Wayne. Come through, sweet that bit like Nudie. I might pop out like John Wayne. Come through, sweet that bit like Nudie. They calling me special. Don't speak that's retarded. We got the best.
Welcome to Concrete, keep it real, man.
For sure.
Greg, man. Wow. I see you here, man. Grown man, like night and day from whom you were to whom you are now. And the reason why I was able to bring you on the show is because, like, one thing I could say that I admire about you, you've never was a follower. You always marched at your own beat. You know, even when it probably was not cool to do what you were doing, but you marched at your own beat, kept your own speed, and keeping it real has gotten you where you are sitting across from me right now, a grown man handling business. And I can't tell you, man, we need more people like you on this platform where kids who are having identity crisis, who are at a stage in their life they don't know what to do, they can look at you and say, if he did it, so can I.
Yeah.
So introduce yourself, man. Talk to us.
Well, again, my name is Greg Lewis. I'm a real estate agent, and I'm also a mortgage broker. And like Benson said, we've known each other since elementary.
Right.
Gratney Elementary.
Gratney Elementary. Gratney Elementary.
Yeah. I remember them days in middle school, you know, when your mom would drop you off to school, because my parents' house was right by the school.
Right.
You know, my dad would be talking to your mom. Just good old days, you know.
Right.
And, you know, time fly by. You know, we just went our different ways. But you say you proud of me, I'm proud of you. The person that you becoming too. You
Appreciate it. That.
Because, you know, a lot of people underestimate people that go through rough times. But truth be told, I'm a firm believer that hard times make us become who we really are.
Right.
And, you know, to see that, you know, the things that you've been through, and now that you're overcoming a lot of things, and you're helping out the community, salute to you, man. Keep it up.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
So let's go back full circle now. How many siblings do you have?
I only have two sisters. I have an older sister.
Right.
I'm the middle child, only boy, and I have a little sister.
You have a little sister. So let's paint this picture for my audience, for those that don't know you. You come from a two-parent household or one-parent household?
No, two. Both of my parents, they were married.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we grew up in a, like you said, in a tough household. You know, my parents were very strict.
Okay.
Growing up, I was a very sheltered kid. You know.
And when you say sheltered in what aspects?
Meaning, like how you said, you know, I've always wanted to partake in certain activities, probably playing sports, hanging out with some friends. But, you know, my parents, they were real strict, especially my father. Him being strict, didn't want me going out, didn't want me playing sports, just wanted me to stay focused in the books.
Right.
You know, so that kind of kept me grounded and sheltered.
But at that time, at that point in time, that's when I'm bringing it back. He was strict for a reason, for things that you probably didn't know. My parents were strict, but like I said, I was rebellious. But you was obedient to your parents. At that time, how did you really feel as a child, to know that your friends are going out, I can't go out. To know I want to play sports, I can't play sport. Because he's running this household with an iron fist. How did that play a dynamic in whom you are today? And how did that play a dynamic in who you were back then? how did you handle that internally? And I know I'm asking a compounded question.
Yeah.
So you pick one to start with.
I mean, for sure, it was tough because I felt like, why I couldn't play sports. I felt like, why I couldn't hang out with my friends. So I was angry, but what can I do? They were taking care of us. So we had no choice but to abide. Now, growing up, I do see the benefit of what he was doing. You know, when we're kids, when we're a child growing up, we don't see what our parents see.
Right.
But, you know, our parents always want what's best for us. So growing up, it was hard because I was always upset. But because I was kind of sheltered in, it's like you adapt. Once you start adapting to it, you're like, you know what? It ain't a big deal. I can't play sport. You want to play sport? Okay, whatever. I'll find something else to do. I can't go hang out with a friend. Look, man, I can't go out tonight. Life goes on. So as you start adapting to your environment, it becomes a norm for you.
But I have to harp on that. How do you handle the peer pressure? When your friends be like, probably making ridicule, making fun of you, like, man, you a daddy boy. You, man, listen, man, F the old boy, man, come on, you understand? Because it's a dynamic going on.
No, what you're saying is true.
How do you handle that? Because I admire you for that, for knowing that, you know what, there'll be other days for this. Right now, I'm abide, they taking care of me. Most kids, you know, some kids have it and they don't care.
Yeah.
They run out that porch and crash.
Yeah.
And be like, damn, mom and dad told me this, but it's too late.
Yeah. Now I can honestly say, like I mentioned to you, it's about adapting, right? So growing up, because we were poor, I wasn't the child that always had Jordans. I remember elementary days having imitation shoes.
I remember.
First Nike was this bold green Nike that even matched my uniform.
Wow.
But I say that to say because growing up in elementary, getting laughed at, picked at, you start adapting. Okay, I got picked on today, but guess what? I'm still breathing. I'm still eating. I'm still good. Yeah, emotionally, you don't like it when you're in school, you know, your friends picking on you, but
that could torment you. That could torment a child. It can make you go home and cry at night. Like, what am I doing that day? Why am I not accepted?
You know what it is? The mind is so powerful. So
that's why you're here.
Yeah, the mind is powerful because despite that, you know, I couldn't have the Jordans, I couldn't be the flyest kid in school. One thing that I do know, I was never hungry at the house. We always had power. We always had water. So at a young age, I understood the necessities. So
say that word again.
Yeah, I understood the necessities.
Not the wants.
Yeah, not the wants. So by me understanding that, emotionally, it will bother me that my classmate will make fun of my shoes and I'll be upset, I'll cry. But then when I go home, my parents pour that love into me, you know, giving me whatever toys that I wanted. I didn't get allowance, but toys, favorite foods, whatever it was, we got it. So yeah, out there, it was an emotional roller coaster, but I knew when I went back home, it was nothing but love.
So your parents were not, I could say they were not absent parents, where when I mean absent parents, you have parents, they show love, but they're not there. It seems as if your parents were there actively present in your life, like they actually gave you those quality time, because you said pour love.
Yeah.
So the love that most of us, such as myself, I was one of them. Yeah, I had my parents, but it was a big gap, you know, generation gap. And I'm not saying that they didn't love me. They love me much more than I could ever express. However, at times I saw me looking for love elsewhere, and that was from the streets. But in your situation, it seemed as if you was looking for love. You had that love in that house that was poured into you.
Yeah.
Invested in you. It wasn't like your child stayed in child place.
No, I agree. No, definitely. My parents loved us. Despite that, my father was a hardworking man, always working 2-3 jobs. So he was mostly out working. And my mom, you know, would take care of us. She was working too, but mostly my mom would raise us. My father, because he was so busy with work, he wasn't really home all the time, but he made sure rules are rules, and all rules are going to get abided by, or you're going to pay the consequence.
Give us an example. What were some of the rules?
I could not get phone calls 8 p.m.
I think that's all Haitians. I think that was all Haitians. I think at one time, I got a buddy. I remember one time, 9 o'clock, Haitian, Haitian parents, they were strict with rules, like you said, man. I remember one time at 9 o'clock, girl called me, I'm on the phone. Back then, there's no cell phones.
Yeah.
It's not like we're calling each other off cell phones.
Right.
I'm on the phone with the girl, my mom on the phone, you want to pull out like who you talking to in England? Who you talking to?
Well, see, you were lucky because your mom would ask you. My parents would get on the phone. They'll get on the phone and question my homeboy.
Wow.
Why are you calling? It's too late.
8 o'clock.
You know,
so they were 8 o'clock, no phone calls.
No phone calls. No phone calls.
Up to what grade?
Man, to be honest, let me see.
Don't tell me this had to go after high school.
No.
Up to what grade we're talking?
I think 9th grade.
Yeah, that's
by 9th grade, I was okay to get phone calls but it couldn't be no 11 o'clock phone calls. No way. Take that back. 10 o'clock. Couldn't be past 10 o'clock.
Because, and for people that don't understand, we're not talking about cell phone age. We're talking about landline,
yep,
age,
house
beepers
phones.
and whatnot, pages and whatnot.
I couldn't even have a beeper.
You couldn't even have a pager. My God.
My parents, your friend want to contact you, call the house. Because my parents felt like they were more control. They could listen to the conversation. They could say no. They could say yes. Compared to if I had a cell phone or a beeper, and I go, behind their back.
So I must ask you this: how was your parents with you having a girlfriend? How was that? How did that dynamic play in your life?
Man, to be honest with you, my first girlfriend was after high school.
Your first girlfriend?
Yeah. My first girlfriend after high school. Yeah.
So when we say that, did that have anything to do with your parents, or did that have everything to do with how you were sheltered?
I think what happened was in high school, I did have an admiration for a female. I really liked her. And, I tried to work things out with her, but it didn't work. Where she made me believe we were in a relationship. And because, I was excited, I'm happy, I'm in a relationship. But I wasn't. She was doing her thing. I think that experience is what helped me figure myself out and start understanding why people do the things they do.
What do you mean by that?
Meaning that, okay,
so what's this? It's a movie that comes to mind when you talk like that. What movie do you think I'm thinking about?
Meaning like it's a mental thing. It's a mental thing in your environment.
No, I said there's a movie that comes to mind when you said this. What movie do you think I'm talking about?
I don't know, what movie?
It's a movie with Nick Cannon.
What's the name of it? I don't think I've ever seen it.
My God, it's with Nick Cannon and my girl, Christina Milian.
No, I don't know.
My audience know what I'm talking about. Go ahead.
Yeah, but like I was saying, so you can have two individuals, right, in a relationship, and both individuals get hurt the same exact way, but you'll see one person move on, and another person, it probably affect them.
Dive in.
Yeah. So in my case, it affected me emotionally, but instead of allowing it to take the best of me to go do crazy things, I was like, you know what? Just fall back, reevaluate. What did you do wrong? What did she do wrong? Is this your type of woman that you really want? What is it that you liked about her? And when I start putting these things into perspective, she was out of my league. I should not have been chasing a female like that. When I say she's out of my league, meaning that I'm a sheltered kid, but I was trying to date a female that's out there. It doesn't work. Now maybe if I was dating another person that was sheltered, maybe it would have worked. But I was chasing something that wasn't in my league, meaning that she was more streets, more experience. And this compared is your first time? This is my first. Where her, rumors was going around that she had plenty,
right.
dudes. People was passing her around.
Right.
So once I kind of sat down, reevaluated myself, reevaluated the situation, instead of having hatred towards her, I appreciated her because she made me realize who I am.
And this is right. This
is in high school.
Oh, this was
high school. Yeah, this is high school. Now, after high school, that's when I start, I'm more free now to do what I want. Was working a job, have money.
And when you're saying you're free, you're not living with your parents no more.
No, I was still staying home, but at this time, they couldn't really control me. Now I was more free to do what I want.
Why they couldn't control you? You still in their household?
Meaning that, okay, so when I turned 18, my parents still had rules and regulation that we must abide by.
Right.
However, what is one thing that Haitian parents want all of us to do?
Graduate.
So
once
go
you
to
got
school.
diploma.
Yes. So they felt like, okay, you know what? He graduated. Let's give him some leniency. He has a job. Okay, let's do this. He's contributing to the house. Let's give him some food.
He was contributing to the house.
Oh yeah.
So they taught y'all that accountability.
Oh yeah. Because my father used to do. My father, I remember, like every month we'll have at least 1 or 2 family meetings. Where if something ain't going right, he'll have a family meeting, discuss things with us, talking about bills, about us cutting back on things because he was quitting one of his other jobs. So I'm the type of person, I listen, I see, and I absorb. So absorbing that at a young age, by the time when I got out of the relationship, like I said, I reevaluated myself and realized this is not my type of person. We're not on the same, category. Doesn't mean she's a bad person, but this could have been avoided if I was more cautious.
Right.
But then once that was over, that's when I started, going out, clubbing, hanging out with friends, and that's when I started getting exposed to women, and that's when I started, catching up.
Okay. So that boy say catching up. So when you're now, after being sheltered for as long as you were, and you're catching up, now how do you find the balance? Because some people get consumed and get lost in that, and stuff that they never experienced before. Because I'm looking at the man here that now has what, 3-4 businesses?
Yeah, I'm a real estate, and I also opened a mortgage company. So pretty good. And right now, I'm actually doing a transition. I'm thinking about doing a home health care. Right. So I'm just work in progress.
So that's what I'm asking. Yeah. So how did you find balance from being sheltered those years, then to go full force into diving into experiences that you never experienced before, that others get consumed in and never find their way back? How do you find a way to balance it and become who you are now?
That's a good question. What actually helped me have a passion for what I do is because of my hardship that I went through. Growing up, like I said, my parents kept us real sheltered, very strict. But aside from that, when I started working, my cousin Steve, shout out to Steve, he had a property management company. So, he's like, hey, cuz, I want you to be a partner with me in this business. I didn't know nothing about business. I just told him, yeah, So me and him was partners. They started giving us credit cards, 10,000 here. I'm using it, I'm paying it off. Other creditors, here's another 10,000. So now I'm stacked up $60,000, $70,000 with credit cards. Now, what happened was,
now you tell me how you don't get bad credit.
Well, no, listen to this.
Yeah,
so I had these cards, but I never really used them.
Oh, okay.
Right? Now, I had got my real estate license a little bit after high school. I think that's 2007. Got my real estate license and started trying to pursue it. I was working with this brokerage right by the house in North Miami. I forgot the name of it, but shout out to Manuel. That's my first broker.
So you started at a young age?
Yeah, I started at a young age. Was working with him, and that was 2007. Now, 2007, 2008 is when the economy started shifting.
Right.
2009, my daughter was born, and around that time, mind you, it's funny because I told you my dad always had 3 jobs. I've always had 3 jobs.
Right.
So in 2009, I remember my daughter was born. Was coming out of 2008 crisis where there was no money, no jobs.
Yeah.
I was working at Pizza Hut, and I was working at a freight company. Okay. Driving forklifts, and things just started getting bad. So when things started getting bad, I started using my credit cards because then my parents had a divorce. When my parents had a divorce, you know, my father relocated to Jacksonville.
So it seemed like everything was like a domino effect.
It was going bad.
One bad thing.
It was going bad. It was going bad. Yes, absolutely. So after they had the divorce, my father left, went to Jacksonville. So it was me at the house with my sister and my mom. Mind you, my mom stopped working, so now it's like I'm the man of the house.
Right.
What am I supposed to do now? There's no money, so I start using my credit cards. You know, I was $60,000 in debt.
Jesus.
$60,000.
And these credit cards that you had early that you never used,
that's
now
I
you're
was using them. I was using to survive.
Yes.
I had to feed my daughter. I had to pay light. I had to pay water. My mom wasn't working.
So how do a black man come out of $60,000 with Uncle Sam?
This is why I'm so passionate about what I do, because a lot of people that go through a hardship like that commit suicide.
Yes, they do.
Or just drink their life away. But by the grace of God, growing up, we were Jehovah's Witness. I always believed in a higher power. I prayed about it. But like they say, you know, you can't just pray, you gotta put action into it. So when these creditors subpoenaed me to court, they wanted to sue me. I had no money to hire a lawyer. I had one credit card that had about $600, a Capital One, $600. And I remember.
So your credit score right now is at 300. Is that 200? Is that?
Oh no! It's my credit score is like at 800 now. Yeah, this is years ago. This is
no, not now. I'm talking about back then.
Oh, back then. Oh yeah.
No.
It's ruined.
Yeah, don't
remember because I had these creditors taken to court.
Yeah,
horrible.
So your credit.
Horrible. It was horrible. However, I had this last $600 on my Capital One card, and I saw a dude on Facebook. Shout out to him, Mark Claiborne. He had a software teaching people how to start up your own credit repair business. My last little $500 swipe for his course. I read. When I start reading and I start realizing, wow, this is how the credit game work. Okay, I don't have money for an attorney. I'm gonna have to represent myself. So with the court in front of the judge, represent myself.
A black man.
A black man, Mark Claiborne. Yeah.
No, you're a black man representing yourself in the courtroom against creditors.
Yes.
$1 million folks.
Yes.
Let me hear this.
I was very nervous, but again, what makes somebody nervous is lack of education, fear and lack of education. Now, obviously, this is new to me, being $60,000 in debt. They're threatening to garnish my wages from work. But because I took this course, I'm reading, I'm studying, I represent myself and showed the judge my hardship. I showed the judge credit card debt, so obviously he's aware of that. I showed him my daughter was born. I showed him pay stubs that I was working. I used to come from working 36 hours a week to now working about 10 hours a week. I showed the divorce. I was able to show my grandma was living with us. She had a stroke. We really had some hardships. And the judge favored on my side and told me, okay, you know what, young man, I understand this, I understand that. We're gonna make you guys settle at a certain price. So then I agreed to it. And the condition was, okay, you owe $60,000 in debt. You done prove hardship. What is that you can do? I told the judge what I could do. I told him there was no guarantee. However, I would like to, have a less amount. So from $60,000 debt, they dropped it down to $20,000.
My God.
Now, usually they want you to just pay cash up front, but because I was able to prove my hardship, they put me on a payment plan. And the agreement was if I miss one payment, I would have to go back to the $60,000. We shook hands, I said, agree. So leaving that courthouse, I just started working. Like I said, my dad was working 3 jobs. I was working 3 jobs. I was working the Pizza Hut. I was working.
And people don't understand, this is where you were at. It's called financial death.
Yes.
That financial death will ruin someone because I tell people you can have all the money in the world. If your credit score is not up to par, your money means nothing in the United States.
100%, man, 100%. So once I was able to work, Because remember, growing up, remember what I told you, I was very sheltered. I couldn't go out with friends.
Right.
Now that I'm in $60,000 debt, I didn't care about going out because I wanted to make money to pay my debt. So when the judge was able to tell me to pay $20,000,
you think that prepared you for this?
Absolutely. Every hardship in life prepares you for tomorrow.
I love that.
Every hardship.
That's powerful.
It's just that we emotional beings and we get caught up with our emotion. And I get it, you know, because we emotional beings. But if people learn how to control their emotion, sit in quietness, you're gonna find every solution to your problem. Mm-hmm. And that's what happened with me. During that time where I had to pay the money back, I couldn't go out. So guess what? When I couldn't go out, guess what I was doing?
Saving.
Not only saving, but after joining that Mark Claiborne program, I started doing credit repair.
For others.
For others.
Because you just did it.
I just did it.
You was the example.
Exactly.
You just wiped out $40,000.
Yes.
If my audience did not hear.
Exactly.
Clean off. Forgiven.
Now this is the thing though, because when they forgive you for the debt,
mm-hmm.
you do get a 1099 as an earned income. So now you gotta claim that on your taxes.
And you gotta pay taxes on
you gotta pay tax on something you didn't really earn.
Mm-hmm.
So guess what? But learning about this business, creating a business for credit repair, plus I had my cousin doing the property management, I was able to expense certain things. So it worked out in my favor. But that hardship experience is what made me love what I do, because this is what I do. I sit down with people, I see your financials, I see your pay stub, I see how much you make a year. If you have a business, I see all of this. I can analyze this. I see your credit score. So when clients come to me, they qualify for $500,000, $800,000, but it doesn't mean you could afford an $800,000 home. So once I started advertising on the radio, a lot of my clientele came to me because they were dealing with other realtors, you know, that were trying to make them buy an $800,000 house that they couldn't even afford really. Mm-hmm. On paper it looked nice, but you gotta look at your balance sheet to see, you know, your statements to see what you could afford.
Correct.
So once I started getting more clientels and I started seeing it, it gave me flashbacks of my situation, because I was reckless with my money, with the credit cards, and now I'm seeing people that want to buy a house. They want to buy a house to impress the neighbor. What sense does that make? Buy a house for you and your family. It's an investment. Don't buy it to make your church member, oh, gotta go again. Look at this big house you have. No. So once I started doing that and I started seeing clients have bad credit, I went through the whole credit situation. So I explained to them, I taught them, and I started making some money. So when I started making some money, I'm like, you know what? Maybe this is my calling because of my hardship that I went through.
Right.
And
so basically, this just fell on your lap. This wasn't even something you went to school for. It fell.
Well, with the real estate thing, again, my cousin Steve had introduced me to
broker.
No, to just real estate, because
right.
he was working with some developers that was developing some condos and apartment buildings in Orlando. So we'll take the trip, I'll meet them, and then he told me, cuz, get the license because these developers want you to represent them. I was young, I was partying, I didn't care, but I still got the license, but I didn't work. Lost a lot of money during that time. However,
if you had to give a ball figure, how much money do you think you lost?
Man, those developers, that guy, man, I probably could have been making like easily 6 figures.
So you felt like you were swindled?
No. I felt like I didn't take it serious. Because when my cousin was telling me, get the license to go represent these people, I got the license, but I didn't want to work.
Gotcha.
Yeah. It's until he introduced me to his homeboy, which is actually my mentor, Harold. Shout out to Harold, that's my broker as well. It was crazy because I met Harold, we'll go into the office, and Harold would be like, man, you gotta take this thing serious. Your cousin keep telling me you playing with this. I'm like, man, ain't no money in this, but you know, I wanna learn it. He starts showing me $10,000 checks. Greg, look what I made. Greg, look what I made. I'm like, what? I'm seeing $10, $12, $18,000 checks. I'm like, man, it's fake. He's like, Greg, I keep telling you, that's your problem. You keep thinking everything is fake. This is reality. I'm showing you. I was inspired. So I said, you know what? Even though I was working the warehouse job, I was working Pizza Hut, I would go to the office every single day and just shadow him. That's why I say he's my mentor, because I would shadow him, ask him questions, do his little tasks that he needed to get done.
Was this like an internship?
No, because I became a licensed agent under his broker.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So I started watching him, learning him, but I wanted that $10,000 check. But what I realized is that a lot of people fail to realize this too. In life, it's a process. Everything is a process.
Nothing is instant.
No, everything's a process. Before you started running, you had to crawl. You crawl, you walk, you ran, now you can sprint. Everything's a process. So when I seen the $10,000 check, I was inspired. I wanted it. But I said, you know what, Greg? Focus on the process. Don't fall in love with that $10,000 check. Fall in love with the journey. So instead of helping people buy houses or sell houses, you know what? I'm gonna deal with the rental community. So I started helping rentals, people that wanna find an apartment complex or duplex, whatever it may be. Now, it's not a $10,000 check,
Right.
but I said, you know what? Let me make my first $1,000 check. Because if I can make my first $1,000 check, I'm gonna learn how to make 5,000. Then I'm gonna grow that 5,000 to 10,000.
Right.
So eventually I started working with a lot of renters, and I created a system. There was a system in place that worked so perfect. I went to different rental communities, I partnered up with them, and they told me all I gotta do is just bring a client to them, which made my job much easier.
Wow.
You wanted to rent a house, a apartment complex, I got 10 lists. Look at these 10 communities, which one do you like?
And what was your percentage?
3%.
3%.
3%, and I didn't even have to do anything. I didn't even have to drive with the client to the community. All I had to do,
Send them.
client, Benson is gonna meet you at the property.
Send them.
You do all the work, I got paid. When I started to see it that way, I'm like, you know what? Clients that want nice communities, I'm gonna give you the resources to get you those communities. Clients that want the single family homes and duplex, I'll drive and show you the properties. So I was making money both ways.
Right.
And when I saw my first $1,000 check, I was shocked. I was like, what? I made $1,000 and I didn't even show nobody no house because I was sending them to the communities.
That's powerful.
Yeah. So it motivated me. When it started motivating me, I'm helping this client, I'm helping that client. I made in 1 month about $4,000
Right.
in rental.
Right.
And mind you, this is more money than my job.
3 jobs.
3 jobs.
Right. And plus you bring smiles to people. You're
Absolutely,
giving them
absolutely.
homes.
So once I start seeing that, I'm like, oh man, this thing is true. Then I start working, learning how to help people buy houses. Once I start learning how to help people buy houses and I start representing people that want to buy, started making the $10,000 checks just like him. He says, Greg, I told you. He said, now you sleeping because you could make this. And what he showed me, 2 checks. 2 checks, $20,000. I'm like,
there's levels to this. Basically, there's levels to this now.
I'm like, Harold, man, you gotta be kidding me. You lying right now. You told me no. You said this is I've never steered you wrong.
Right.
And he just lit a fire in me. Then I went to go get my mortgage license. Got my mortgage license, so now I'm doing mortgage, I'm doing real estate. Was able to have an in-house processor, paid her, process my loans while I'm showing clients houses, and it's a rewarding feeling. And
so now, I just want to go full circle with this. What about the peers that used to laugh at you when they see you now? Like
I help them.
I help them. And
How's
how's that feeling when you run across someone that used to pick on you or laugh at you because you had the neon green Nike?
To be honest with you, it don't bother me because, like I told you, I don't know, maybe it's a God gift where not only that I'm full of wisdom, but I understand people. So I understand him that picked on me when I was a kid. It wasn't his fault. He was doing it to be extra cool with his friends and wanted to feel like he could bully somebody and made fun of my green shoes. But if I run into him tomorrow, he want to buy a house, I'm not going to tell him, oh, you laughed at me, I'm not going to help you. I'm going to help him.
Right.
Yeah, no lost feelings. It is what it is. Remember them green Nikes? I threw them away.
Right.
I don't got them no more. But how can I help you?
Right.
You know, let me help you do this. Oh, your credit's bad? I got you. You want to buy a house? I got you. Listen, you want to get pre-qualified? We got first-time homebuyer programs, grant money? I got you. As a matter of fact, who do you know that's trying to buy a house? You know what I'm saying?
Since y'all here, if someone wanted to buy a house, how do they contact you?
Oh, just gotta hit me up.
Give me information on social media platforms.
Yeah. Well, right now my social media is just Greg Lewis. But you can reach me at 305-912-6872. We do mortgages. We can get you pre-qualified, get you approved. We got first-time homebuyer programs. We got grant programs. Trying to sell a house.
How does a first-time buyer? Because I know people, man. They're paying close to $3,000-$4,000 rent. Since you know both sides, what would you recommend? Mortgage, buying your own property, or renting for something that would never be yours?
Okay.
What do you suggest? And let's go from all levels for the 20s to 30s, from the 30s to 40s. What would you recommend a 20-year-old to 30-year-old?
It's always best to try to own.
At any age.
Yeah, try to own your own.
Explain that to my viewers. Why is it best to try to own a property rather than pay rent?
Because now every situation is different, so obviously you have to know your situation, what your goal is. But ultimately, if you had the choice, buying your own is best. Why? You control yours. Yeah, you owe the bank money, but at the end of the day, that's your property, right? If you're renting, a landlord could kick you out any given moment. Just because you sign a year lease does not mean you have to stay there for a year, because if he breached the contract, whatever the terms on the contract, he just pay you the fee, buy you out, whatever it may be, you're out. You don't have a rental. But if you're in your own house, who's going to kick you out?
Right.
The only way you get kicked out your own house is if you're not paying the mortgage. But remember, it's your house. You do what you want. So let's say you decide, you know what, this mortgage is too high for me. I'm gonna go live with my sister for a month or a year. You're able to go there, rent your property. Now, obviously, because you're renting your property, it's like a business. There's always risk in business.
Right.
However, you own it, and nobody can tell you what to do. So if you decide you want to rent it, you want to go live with your sister for a year and save up until you decide you want to sell it, you can do that. But if you don't own something,
you can't do that.
You can't do that. Not only that, but when you own something, you have the power of reselling. So if you brought the property today at $400,000, and in the next 2 years property appreciate, you don't want the house no more, guess what? You can sell it. So 400, it increased 200, you sell it for $200,000 in equity, you sell it for 600, you just made $200,000. What job is gonna pay you that type of money in 2 years, unless if you're a professional?
And people don't even understand that you can still sell a house while owning a bank.
Oh yeah.
No, but some people, we're having this conversation. I'm giving people this financial literacy when it comes to home ownership, because people don't understand that. Because people believe just because they own the house or own the bank, they won't be able to sell the house. That is so. No, you can sell the house.
Yeah, you can sell it.
And still make the money that you just said, the equity off the house.
Yeah. So I would always advise somebody to try to purchase. Now, obviously, everybody's situation is different. So you might not be able to purchase today, but guess what? Remember what I told you? Enjoy the journey. Enjoy the process.
So how do you help people out? Stop.
Are you running out of space? I put it back. I think it has a limit. Continue.
We're good. So how do you help? Oh my God, I forgot.
You help people out. That's what you said.
With what?
Because you were
okay. So how do you help people out with first-time buyers? People that have. What is it that you do to help them out?
So what I do for all my first-time home buyers, I have a free consultation with them. When I have this free consultation with them, I sit down with them. I don't only try to see how much they can get approved for, but I sit down with them and see what their financial goals are, what their long-term goal is, why they want to purchase, you know, because you got to know all these things so you can connect the dots. Because when you know all these things and you're able to connect the dot, then guess what? You could create a path, a road where it's going to lead to success. Compared to a person come in, oh yeah, you qualify for this, and you throw them in the house. In 2 years, they can't pay their mortgage, they're about to be foreclosed. So I have a free consultation with them. I sit to see what their goals are. I look at their financial situation. I look at their credit. I look at who they want to own the house with them.
Okay.
So I look at all these situations, and by me analyzing all the situations, they were able to come up with a game plan. Now the game plan could be like, you know what, we got everything set, but you're not ready to purchase right now. So then what we do, we're gonna rent for a year or maybe even 2 years. We're gonna create a budget system. We're gonna open a CD account. If it's a money market account, we're gonna open it for you so that way you can continue saving while you're renting, but you know your 2-year goal is to accomplish home ownership. So we have different processes that we put in place for clients that come in so we can help them achieve their goals.
My God, man. So we're talking about the young boy that was sheltered, the young boy that was being picked by here, giving people homes now, helping them out. People that probably was in positions that needed someone like you.
Yeah, absolutely. And remember what I told you, it's the hardship. Because in my situation, a lot of people would have been in my situation, they would commit suicide.
They were.
You know?
60,000.
Yeah.
60,000.
So because I was able to overcome that, I get a pleasure helping somebody else avoid what I went through.
Financial death.
Oh, absolutely. That's the number one stressor. 100%.
Trust me. I understand about that. So you've been doing it in total how many years now?
I got my real estate license in 2007. I got my mortgage license. That was 7 years after. So 2014, I got my mortgage license. 2024 is when I opened my mortgage company.
You never said your mortgage company name.
Best Life Financial Services. Say a lot of proud. That's your brand,
yes,
man. Reach us out. Best Life Financial Services. We got you.
Yeah, that's your brand.
So that's my mortgage company. I don't know. I just get a pleasure of helping people. And you know, my father was sick. Passed away like 2 years ago.
Oh man, my condolences.
Yeah, appreciate that. So him being sick and me having to take care of him and seeing how the hospital system work, how Medicaid, Medicare work, that's what kind of got me now doing health insurance as well, because I was able to get my insurance.
Jack of all trades.
Well, you gotta understand, everything connects.
It does.
If you want to buy a house, what do you need? You need the
Insurance,
mortgage.
yeah.
You need the mortgage. No, you need the
Insurance.
mortgage. You need the mortgage to buy your house.
Right.
In order for you to pay your mortgage, you got to be in good health. Because if you're in good health, then you could work.
Right.
So everything is like I said, connect the dots. Connect the dots. So after experiencing what my dad went through, the health industry is like recession proof, where real estate and mortgage has its cycles.
It has impressions.
Yes, where a business could go slow. I had years business was very hard, but because remember, I've learned how to manage my money, so I'm able to take 6 months, 8 months off, no work.
And plus you have multiple streams of income.
Absolutely. But now, after helping my father go through the transition where he was sick and he passed away, I've learned a lot. Shout out to my cousin JB. He has his group home, so now we're doing something, and you know, that's progress at work. So
you about to do a nursing home?
Not nursing home, but I want to look more into like the home health care, you know, because I'm telling you the things that I experienced with my father, and every time I would go to his doctor's appointment, all the doctors would simply say like, what do you do for a living? You're always here for your parents. You're always here for your father. What do you do? How come you're so free? I'm like, aren't I supposed to? Mm-hmm. And when they start telling me about their clients, their patients, have nobody to represent them, start scratching my head.
Right.
Then when I started getting in contact and building relationship with these caseworkers, I started learning more about the industry. I'm like, wow, you know, the knowledge that I'm learning here, I can take it to my community and make our situations better, because there's a lot of people that don't know.
Listen, I've been to nursing homes. I actually give my nonprofit organization we do for nursing homes. We did one from right here on 135th in North Miami. We have North Miami 135th nursing home. We gave wheelchairs, diapers, blankets and whatnot. But what people don't realize, some of these nursing homes, man, are like prisons.
Yeah.
These people are in there with no loved ones.
Yeah.
It's like their loved ones forgot them, and they die alone.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry to say, some of these staff members should not be in there.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and there's some great ones.
Yeah.
But there's also the ones that fall through the crack and neglect them.
Yeah. And because you're aware of that, because I'm aware of that, guess what? We capitalize on that by providing those type of services that's lacking to the community. You know, because like you said, you go into these places, you give them diapers. It's not, people from the outside may look at, oh, anybody can give a diaper, so why you're not giving it?
Right.
You know, why you're not giving it? And when you go to these hospitals and you meet these patients, sometimes they just want somebody to talk to. Sometimes they just want a hug. And you know what? That diaper you give them will probably make their health get better 5 to 10%. Wow. Just because, remember, we all are emotional beings. Right. So a patient that feels neglected, nobody likes him, and here you come with your organization providing service for them, I'm quite sure you see that smile. You see that smile. Right. And when they smile, they happy, they feel like somebody's there to contribute to them. It does help with their health.
But it's crazy you said how your father was the one that inspired you. My parents were the one that inspired me because, as you know, my dad and my brother died in the hospice, so that's in that environment. And my mom, she suffered with Alzheimer's, and she needed an all-around clock nurse to be there at the house with her, because the Alzheimer's that's a deteriorating disease. It's a bad disease. Yeah. But we're gonna wrap this up, man. We call this Concrete Keeping It Real. I do got a question for you. What does keeping it real mean to you in all aspects of life? However you want to take it. What does keeping it real mean to you?
Man, keeping it real is knowing where you come from, knowing what you stand for, and providing good, doing good to the universe. You know, that's all God wants us to do, show love. Keep it real. If somebody do something to you, you dislike it, you don't gotta hate the person. Tell them, keep it real. Look, man, I don't like what you did to me. And then you take it from there. You know, so keeping it real, I like that name. I like the whole concept of it, because a lot of people like that. They don't know how to keep it real.
And I appreciate you.
Nah, man, I appreciate you for inviting me, man.
Y'all give this man a call, man. Especially y'all first time home buyers.
Yeah.
I advocate that you get a home. I advocate that you.
In the market, I'm in a Tesla full of chrome hearts, pushing the button to park it. Got a dot on the shirt like Target. When I drop that pic, she hearted. Even though sometimes I'm heartless, put ice right where my heart is. In a Model D with a gypsy, lean over and say she wanna kiss me. Don Julio made a whole tipsy. I just say she wanna listen to naked. Yeah, diamonds be dancing frisky. Gotta put on a set, Ricky. Be out of the door, but I gotta go back 'cause I might have forgot the blicky. All my bitches bad as shit. We on top like chandelier. We make a movie, crib full of baddies and bougies, Glocks, FNs, and Uzis. I might pop out like John Wayne, come through sweep that bitch like Nudie. I might pop out like John Wayne, come through sweep that bitch like Nudie. All my bitches bad as shit. We on top like chandelier. We make a movie, crib full of baddies and bougies, Glocks, FNs, and Uzis. I might pop out like John Wayne, come through sweep that bitch like Nudie. I might pop out like John Wayne, come through sweep some shit like Nudie.